Welcome back to my KEEPUP channel. Robbie Robertson, dead at 80, leader of the band, who worked with Bob Dylan and Martin Scorsese, passes away of prostate cancer in Los Angeles. Robbie Robertson, the frontman of the classic rock group The Band, died at the age of 80 in Los Angeles this Wednesday. His manager of 34 years, Jared Levine, released a statement in Variety revealing Robertson's demise came at the end of a long illness. Sources informed TMZ that the musician succumbed to prostate cancer. Some of the most beloved songs he wrote for the band include The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, Up on Cripple Creek and The Weight. When Robertson's lifelong pal Bob Dylan controversially went electric in the 1960s, it was the band that provided his backing on stage. Robertson also enjoyed a long professional relationship with Martin Scorsese, first with the band and then as a solo composer on a string of the filmmaker's classics. Robbie was surrounded by his family at the time of his death, including his wife, Janet, his ex-wife, Dominique, her partner Nicholas, and his children Alexandra, Sebastian, Delphine, and Delphine's partner Kenny, said his manager's statement. He is also survived by his grandchildren Angelica, Donovan, Dominic, Gabriel, and Serafina, Levine added. Robertson recently completed his 14th film music project with frequent collaborator Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. With a top-flight cast including Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon follows a scheme by white Americans to seize oil that has been discovered by the Osage Indians on their land. In lieu of flowers, the family has asked that donations be made to the Six Nations of the Grand River to support the building of their new cultural center, said Levine. Robertson was born in Toronto in 1943 to a mother who grew up on Canada's Six Nations Reserve, being of Mohawk and Cayuga descent. During his own childhood visits to his maternal family on the reserve, Robertson quickly acquired an enduring taste for music. It seemed to me that everybody played a musical instrument or sang or danced. I thought, I've got to get in on this club, he told The Guardian. His instrument of choice was the guitar, which he thought looked pretty cool, prompting his mother to give him one featuring a painting of a cowboy. I thought it was very ironic that Indians would teach me to play guitar with a picture of a cowboy on, Robertson drily recalled. During his teenage years, he started jobbing around on the fringes of the entertainment industry, working traveling carnivals and even a freak show. By the age of 15 he had joined the burgeoning rock scene in Toronto, and in 1958, he helped form the group that became the band. Under their original name The Hawks, they provided backup for Ronnie Hawkins, the rockabilly stalwart who himself died last year at the age of 87. They turned into the band in 1967, after they had already provided backup for Bob Dylan on his furiously polarizing electric tour. An abiding friendship formed between Dylan and Robertson, as recounted in the latter's memoir testimony, in which he writes about them getting stoned together and mingling with an artistic social circle ranging from the Beatles to Salvador Dali. Robertson even had to save Dylan's life once. The folk legend was once so dead to the world that he nearly drowned in the bath, only for Robertson to fish him out. After the divisive Dylan tour, the Hawks became the band, releasing their groundbreaking debut album Music from Big Pink in 1968. Dylan helped write multiple songs on the album, including Tears of Rage, This Wheel's on Fire and I Shall Be Released. With its blend of genres like soul, country, and rock, Music from Big Pink had a profound influence on such top-flight artists as Eric Clapton and Pink Floyd. 1 year after Music from Big Pink, the band released a self-titled album that contained some of their best-known songs to this day. They also continued performing with Bob Dylan, including during a 1968 concert at Carnegie Hall and a 1974 gig at Florida's Hollywood Sportatorium. Although he was no stranger to drugs, Robertson managed to sidestep the heroin problem that took hold of his bandmates as their rise to fame continued. Let me be very clear, I was no angel. I was not Mr. Responsible, he told Salon a few years ago. I was just better off than others, and in a position to say, is everyone okay? But even if people aren't okay, they say they are. However, He was unable to avoid a bitter feud with the band's drummer Levon Helm, arising from a dispute over copyright issues and songwriting credits. Ultimately, the tensions between the musicians over the drugs and the business side of their relationship became insurmountable. Robertson noted in his memoir that as the band skidded towards disintegration, self-destructiveness had become the power that ruled us. In 1976, 6 years after they landed on the cover of Time magazine, they played their iconic farewell show The Last Waltz at San Francisco's Winterland Ballroom. A cavalcade of guest stars joined the band on stage, including Eric Clapton, Neil Diamond, Joni Mitchell, Ringo Starr, Van Morrison, Muddy Waters, and Dylan. It was this concert that marked the birth of Robertson's relationship with Martin Scorsese, who filmed the gig for a wildly acclaimed rock documentary. According to Helm, Robertson, whose decision it was to break up the band, was so pale from tiredness that his wife had to slather him with makeup for the camera. Robertson ultimately broke away from the band but retained his professional connection to Scorsese as the composer for several of his movies. Fan favorites like Raging Bull, The King of Comedy, and The Wolf of Wall Street all feature original music by Robertson, as did lesser-known features like Silence. Meanwhile, other members of the band fell prey to their demons. Pianist Richard Manuel hanged himself in 1986, a decade on from The Last Waltz, and bassist Rick Danko died of heart failure in 1999 after years of heroin use. Levon Helm died of cancer at the age of 71 in 2012 and while unconscious received a deathbed visit from Robertson, who had never managed to mend fences with him. Looking back over his time with the band, Robertson mused that it was like everything else, half of it was beautiful and half of it, I didn't know what the F*** was going on. It's a balancing act. He maintained, God, there were good intentions. John Lennon really wanted people to connect in the most beautiful way. Who doesn't want peace? Or that love is special and the most important thing in the world? Robertson wistfully concluded his appraisal, to look back and think, that's a waste is awful. People really meant well. Source, dailymail.co.uk. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.